screen. And can you all please start with the prayers?
Mama Gyanatimmirandasya Gyananjana
Gurave Namaha. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhi Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Vishwashanivadi Ashtadharine
Jai Shri Krishna
Shri Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Radha
Jagadadhar
Radha Vrinda
Ivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Okay, and then what do we do after this?
Sloka.
Yes.
Mataji, for some reason there's a problem. Something pops up onto my screen. I don't really read it, and then I click the X so it would disappear, and then I get logged out.
Oh, really?
So
There must
the
be.
thing is, that button is that it's saying that you're recording, and you have to click OK, not the X,
Okay.
because the
Yeah.
recording, they can't record you without your permission. So that's why that option pops up. So if you don't want to be recorded, you leave the meeting. But if you're fine with it, you just stay. You click OK and not cancel.
Okay, Zoom has some problems.
Okay, so you got it now, Suraj?
Yes.
It's awesome explanation.
Thank you, Advait. That was very nice.
No problem.
It's a video of a bird eating, what is this? An orange?
Yeah, this I took from Priti Mataji's PPT. Remember why there is a bird eating the fruit? Actually, it's parakeet. What is the reason? Why? How is it
Mataji,
related
does
to
the
this?
parrot represent Shukadev Goswami?
Yes.
Okay. And then the orange is the scriptures, right?
Yeah, because yes, this is
He's relishing
spoken
the
by
scriptures.
Shukadev Goswami, and that's why it is more tasty. I mean, tasteful, as mentioned here. It's tastier because it has come from the lips of Sri Shukadev Goswami. Because when a parrot touches a fruit, it becomes even more, what to say, it becomes even tastier. And so who is Shukadev Goswami? He's the Shuka, right? He's parrot of?
The parrot of Radha.
Yes. So when he speaks, definitely it becomes more nectarian, right? And that's why we have the bird and the fruit here. I just copied that slide, PPT, this slide, sorry. So let's recite this verse. I think by now you all are familiar with this verse now, right? Is there anyone new today or recently joined or this week? Can you all try to be on the videos, please? If possible. I know some of you might be eating or something. That's okay. I can see some new names. Vikram Kashi is there. Shatrudana. I don't know what is.
Excuse me, Lisa, my brother and little sister were actually doing
What's that?
the mother class.
Oh, okay. Okay. And Vani is there. I see that name new. I don't know if she already joined. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam.
Yes, Papa, Jai Gurudev.
Okay, is that Shatrudana Ramdas?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So is any child joining the class or Prabhuji, that's you?
Yes, Mataji.
Is there any child joining this class or you
No, Mataji, there is no child.
Okay, I think you have joined, logged in. Okay, because this is kids class going on. That's why I was asking Prabhuji. But no problem.
Yes.
You can also stay connected if you wish to. No, thank you for joining. Okay, so let's recite this verse. Everyone, we will all go together. If everyone is familiar with it now. 3, 2, 1. Say it.
Nigamakapatarogargalitam
phalam
Sukamukadamritadravasamyitam Pibata Bhagavatam Ramalayam Muhurahorasika Bhuvipavuka.
Very good. So anyone wants to recite? I'm gonna give 3-4 people at a time.
Can Samskriti go?
Yeah, you all just raise your hand so we can quickly recite and move ahead. All of you raise hands quickly. I'm going to give 3-4 at a time, so we can go faster. Okay, Mukund, Samskriti, and Rai Prahlad, you want to recite? Go ahead. Say it.
Kalpatarorgalitam phalam Sukamukadamritadravasamyutam Muhurahorasika Bhuvipavuka.
Very good. Ramachandra and Shriya and who wants to go, Advait or anyone else?
Okay, Mataji.
Okay, go ahead.
Nigamakapatarogargalitam phalam
Shriyan, go ahead.
Sukamukadamritadravasamyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhurahorasika Bhuvipavuka.
Very good.
Thank you,
Shriyan,
Mataji.
did you say? Shriyan?
No, Mataji.
I called your name. Okay, who wants to go with Shriyan? We have Avyukta, Aisha, Gayatri is there, Jagadish, Ojasvi, Samskriti. So one of you can, some of you can unmute and recite it with him. Go ahead, Shriyan.
Nigamakapatarogargalitam phalam Sukamukadamritam drava samyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhurahorasika Bhuvipavuka.
Very good. Thank you. Krishnanayana, did you recite? Sorry, I didn't see that.
Yes, Mataji, I just said.
Thank you. Suraj, how about you? You have raised hand. Did you recite?
No, Mataji.
Okay, then someone can go with Suraj. Ojasvi, Aisha, can you both go with Suraj? Go ahead.
Nigamakapatarogargalitam phalam Sukamukadamritadravasamyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhurahorasika Bhuvipavuka.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. So let me see who would like to read the translation. Avikta, can you read the translation?
O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the major fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Sukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls.
Very good. Thank you. Now we will move to our story. Can someone share the part of the story so far?
Maharaj Pariksit and Shringi. Shringi cursed Maharaj Pariksit, and when Maharaj Pariksit got back to his house, he was like, "Should I have done that to the sage or not?" And then Shringi was also thinking like that too. Should I have done that to Pariksit?
Okay, very good,
Then
Ramchandra.
7 days happened and
Mataji did not get a chance to recite the verse.
Who, Mataji?
Vrinda.
Oh, Balavrinda, sorry. Are you there, Balavrinda? You
She's
want
there,
to
Mataji. We raised our hand also, but I don't know, somehow we got.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mataji. I probably didn't notice that. It's right on top, right? So I was just checking the names in the.
Galidam phalam sogamoga amritam samyutam
Pipata.
Vibhavalda bhagavatam rasamalayam Mohora hora siga bhuviga bhavika bhavika. Thank you, Mata.
Very good. Thank you, Balavrinda. Sorry again, I didn't see Mataji. Anyone else did I miss? I don't want to miss anyone. No, right? Anyone wants to recite still? Okay. So yeah, tell me anyone else who wants to share any part of the story? Which story we are reading and what happened so far? No?
Mataji, we are reading the
Yes.
story of how Pariksit Maharaj he got cursed by Shingesi, and then now he's going to get he's going to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam from Sri Sukadev Goswami's mouth.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay. So let's read. So like we saw, right? Sutta Goswami started to narrate about the story of King Pariksit after he narrated the story of Lord Krishna, pastimes related to Lord Krishna and King Pariksit. And then he stopped there actually. He said, now I have completed. But then what happened? The sages in the Naimisharanya, they requested him that this is such a beautiful nectar. We want to hear more and more and more. So they request him, they first glorify him and they request that please continue. And then King Sutta Goswami starts to narrate this story of King Pariksit. And how he started, like how King Pariksit was once hunting in the forest. And then he felt very hungry and thirsty. So he entered the hermitage of well-known Shamika Rishi and saw that sage was sitting silently with his closed eyes. So he was meditating. And it's mentioned there that he had achieved a transcendental position, qualitatively equal with the Supreme Absolute. So he was completely in the meditation. That's what he saw. But when king came, he did not receive him or offer him any water or offered him a seat or anything. So he felt very neglected. And also because he was very hungry and thirsty. So he felt very insulted. So you must have seen what happens to a person when he's, even a person might act to go to any extent when he's thirsty or hungry, right? Out of hunger, how people react. So this is what happened with King Pariksit. Because he was so thirsty and hungry, he felt insulted and he picked up a lifeless snake, dead snake he picked up, and he placed it on the shoulder of the sage. And then he went back to his palace. So this is what King Pariksit did. And then sage had a son, was very powerful. He got to know about this and he got so angry. He could not tolerate that disrespectful act by King Pariksit for his father. So he cursed the king that on the 7th day from today, a snake bird will bite him because of his having broken the laws of etiquette by insulting my father. Because he did that act against a Brahmana. So yeah, it is not a proper etiquette. That's what he was thinking. And then he cursed him that on the 7th day, a snake bird will bite him. And that's what we saw. And now we will go next. Actually, I missed to add the pictures onto the slides. Sorry about that, but we will just try to imagine the pictures today while we are reading the story. Okay, so let's see what happens after that. The boy returns to the hermitage, and he had just heard actually that this is what happened. And because by hearing only, he cursed him. So actually, when he comes back to hermitage, he saw that a snake was still on his father's shoulder. And he started to cry out of his grief. He was feeling so sad, he started to cry loudly. Then his father heard him, that he's crying. He opened his eyes and realized that there was a dead snake around his neck. He just threw that away and asked his son, "Why are you crying?" Then Shaunaka heard everything, and then he was feeling very repentant.
I thought it was Samika. It was the sage's name was Saunaka.
That's what the name was, right? Can someone please correct me? If
I thought it was Samika Rishi.
Oh yeah, Shamika Rishi, sorry.
Shaunaka Rishi was one of the sages at Naimisharanya.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
yes,
thought.
yes. Sorry. I don't know how I wrote that. Shamika Rishi. Thank you, Ramachandra, for mentioning that. I'm so sorry. I don't know how I mentioned that. I think I got confused in the names. So yes, Shamika Rishi. He was feeling very repentful, and because he was thinking what my son has done. He has done such a great sinful act. He cursed the king for his insignificant offense. So he was thinking that his offense was very insignificant, whatever king had done. Then what happened? After hearing all this and feeling bad for the curse which he had given for the king, he talked to his son about the consequences, that what all will happen if the king would be no more, and they will be responsible for that. His son would be responsible for that, right? Because of his curse, king would be no more, and then what all will happen in the kingdom. So that all he starts to tell him. So what all will happen if the king is not there? Let's see, because the king is as good as the personality of Godhead in those days, okay? Because the king is as good as the personality of Godhead, he cannot be placed on an equal level of common people. The citizens of the state live in prosperity, being protected by his unsurpassable prowess. So the citizens are actually protected by him, right? So that's what is mentioned here. If king is actually considered as good as personality of Godhead, he is trained to acquire the qualities of God to protect the living beings. And because the ideal king should be thoroughly trained by culture and devotional service, that is what is mentioned in the purport by Srila Prabhupada, with the martial spirit, and that makes him a perfect king. What makes a king a perfect king? That he should be trained by culture and devotional service, which these are the things which we don't get to see nowadays. But the king is actually trained by culture and devotional services. And so this is what actually Lord Krishna also planned, right? He planned the battle of Kurukshetra. Why Lord Krishna planned it? So he could establish the real representative of the Lord as the king. And who was going to be the king after the battle of Kurukshetra? Who was going to be the king?
Yudhishthira Maharaj.
Yudhishthira, yes, he was the perfect king who had those godly qualities, you know. So he was the real representative of the Lord, and Lord Krishna wanted to establish him as the king. And that's why the battle of Kurukshetra was planned by the Lord. So even when Arjuna was in dilemma, he was given all the knowledge by Krishna. So he would go ahead and take part in the war. So I see two people have raised hands. Avyukta, do you want to say something? Okay, is it from the previous time?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, and how about Shriyan?
I think I forgot to put down my.
Okay, so no questions, right? Okay, no problem. The second reason he gives, the king represents the supreme authority. So when there is absence of a king, the place would be filled with thieves. What will happen if there is no good king? The place will be filled with thieves. There will be many thieves. How? Because the people get uncontrollable, right? When there is no real king representing the Lord. So because such king with godly qualities and trained with culture and devotional services is not there, people would be just out of control, and then all such things will happen, right? So it is mentioned that such king, the trained king, is always better than the so-called people who are not trained and who are still in the big authorities and trying to rule the people. Another reason is there will be great social disruptions. People will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen. And for all these things, we shall be responsible. Again, he's thinking of that they will be responsible because of his son's curse. Maharaj Pariksit will be no more, and all these things will happen, and I will be responsible for that. What all will happen, he's mentioning here, people will be killed and injured, animals and women will be stolen. So it's mentioned here, like what happens in the absence of good government. There will be everyone will be the cause of disturbance, and animals, women, and everything, all those will be stolen. So you can see that in the current world, right? Like there is no just one king. There are many ministers and so many people on the higher authority, and instead of one king, number of irresponsible kings are there, and they want to be there on some post for their own sense gratification so that they get money. We have very few people who are actually there with good intentions. And the last reason is the people in general will fall systematically from the path of progressive civilization. They will be more attached to economic development, like we can see now. People just want money, money, money. They have completely forgotten about the real purpose of human form of life, right? And as a result, there will be an unwanted population on the level of dogs and monkeys. So these are all the consequences. The Brahmana, he specifies to his son that what have you done? You have done such a sinful act, and all these things will happen if King Pariksit will be no more. And then after speaking about the consequences, he again reminds his son that king does not at all deserve to be cursed. Because when he is tired and fatigued, if he acts because of his thirst and hunger, out of his thirst and hunger, he acted like that, right? But actually he was a pious king, right? He was a first-class devotee of the Lord. And he had performed many horse sacrifices. And what his son did, he cursed King Pariksit, who had these qualities, who was a pious king and who was a first-class devotee of the Lord and who had performed so many horse sacrifices. So being very much worried about all this, what he did, he took shelter of the Lord. He prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead to please forgive my son's act, who had no intelligence. So just give me a minute, okay? So here you can see that Shamik Rishi actually specifies the cursing of a king was when he was tired and fatigued with hunger and thirst. It was not at all proper to curse him with such a big, curse, that he will be, that he should be dead and all, because according to him, it was not it did not matter to him actually that he came and kept a snake on my shoulder or anything. He did all these things, he did not mind about all this because of all his qualities. So the whole, because he had cursed, the whole world had changed actually, right? And again and again he was thinking that I'll be responsible for the deterioration of the good of the whole world. So here the question is that it was the desire of the Lord, right? That King Pariksit was put into that awkward position, because King Pariksit is actually the devotee of the Lord. And one can think that how King Pariksit can do such thing. But actually it was the plan by the Lord. He had planned this. And that's why he was put into that awkward position. So he might be delivered from the material existence. Then why was a Brahmana's son made responsible for this offensive act? Anyone wants to answer that? That actually it was the desire of the Lord to put King Pariksit in that awkward position. Then why this Brahmana's son would be responsible for his offensive act?
Maybe he did something bad in the past and he got a reaction, so he had this position to do this or something.
Okay. Anyone else? So because the offensive act was performed by a child, because you can see, right, he was not a mature boy, he was immature. That's what is mentioned. It was performed by a child only, so he could be excused very easily. Because we have heard that, right, sins occurred before the age of 12 or something, they're excused because they are performed by the child. And so the prayer of his father was also accepted by the Lord. Okay, so and also this actually why his father was worried more, because his son had actually made an offense to the devotee, right, devotee of the Lord, and it is very difficult to overcome such reaction. And that's the reason why he was so much worried about his son. And then he was praying to the Lord that please forgive him for his act. But then why was a Brahmana's son was made responsible? The reason is that because he was a child and it could be forgiven easily. And that's why the prayer of his father was accepted. And King Pariksit, why he was put into that awkward position? Because he will be delivered from the material existence. It was all planned by Lord Krishna. And so the sage thus regretted the sin committed by his own son. He did not take the insult paid by the king very seriously. He was thinking that my son has made such a great offense because it was offense against the devotee of the Lord. Right? So far this is this, and here this chapter ends actually on this note. So this is the chapter 18. So anyone has any questions so far about this story? I just try to narrate it like a story. There are so many things to learn actually. So anyone has any questions so far?
No, Mataji.
So we will discuss some questions here. Okay. Let's see how much you have understood this chapter. So why did Shaunaka Rishi regret for the curse by his son for King Pariksit?
It's also Samika Rishi here too.
Oh yeah, sorry. Thank you. Anyone wants to answer that? Why did Shamika Rishi regret the curse by his son?
Now it's Samika.
Okay.
Because he was devotee of Krishna?
Yes, like I mentioned. So it is actually a great offense, right?
Yeah, he thought
Yes.
that since without the king there were going to be a lot of problems, and we need a king. So yeah.
Very good. Anyone else has anything else to say? Any other answer anyone has? Okay, and why did King Pariksit did not mind about the curse by the Brahmana boy?
Because
So he can take full shelter of Krishna?
Yes, very good.
because
as you can see,
or because for the entire world to know Srimad Bhagavatam and for him to learn Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes, very nice. That was a plan. That was a plan of Lord Krishna, right? And see, he was King Parikshit was a devotee, right? So
I
devotee.
think he regretted his mistake too, and he was like, "That's okay. I did something bad. I got some reaction."
Yes, that is also one reason. And because he is the king, he's the devotee of the Lord. The devotee is never disturbed by such things. They always take it as a plan of the Lord. So he accepted it. Whatever has happened is the mercy of the Lord, and so he was facing it. He did not even mind that a Brahmana boy cursed him or something. Okay. Let's see, true or false. The Brahmana's son was matured enough to understand the situation of the king, hence he took a correct decision. The Shringi, Brahmana's son means Shringi here. He was matured enough to understand the situation of the king, that he was hungry and thirsty, and that's why he did it. And so he took a correct decision.
No.
Is it true or false?
False.
False. Everyone agrees?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. What is the truth?
He was not mature enough.
He was immature actually, right? He was very young.
Yeah.
He could not understand. He also got angry, and then he did this sinful act, right? Out of anger. And Shaunaka Rishi prayed to the Lord to forgive the act of his son. Sorry, Shamika Rishi. Oh my God. Now I will never forget this because I have made so many mistakes. After I make mistakes, I will not forget.
Mataji, maybe, it is Shaunaka Rishi, and you got confused.
Yes, that's what happened. I got confused between
What if
Shaunaka.
it is Shaunaka Rishi? Because if it is, you'll have to change everything.
Yeah. So is it true or false? Shamika Rishi prayed to the Lord to forgive the act of his son.
It is
I think so.
Yes, that's what
True.
we learned from the story.
True,
Right?
Mataji.
He takes shelter of the Lord and he prays to him that
Yes,
please.
Mataji, he did.
Smart.
Yes. Okay, so here ends our chapter 18. I hope you all understood some part of it. That about the story of King Parikshit, how he gets cursed by the Brahmana's son. So you all have a cooking class now. Mataji must have joined. So you all can join that, and I will see you all next week. Thank you all for joining.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the class.
Krishna, thank you.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda
Vaishnavrinda
Srila
ki
Prabhupada
jai.
ki
Srila
Jai
Prabhupada
Vrinda.
ki.
Prabhupada ki
Yay.
jai.
Hey.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Here we have our Lakshmi Mataji.
Lakshmi Mataji.
Lakshmi Mataji, it's all yours now. Please take over, Mataji.
When I first saw the ingredients in the chat, I thought it said pecan pie. I was like, what?
Hare Krishna, kids.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Are we going to make pecan pie today? Yeah.
How is it pronounced? I don't understand.
Say that again.
How is it pronounced?
Pecan pie.
Pecan pie.
Pecan pie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
pecan.
first I thought it was pecan pie. I was like,
Mataji, Mukund, it's pronounced Pecan.
Yeah, and by the
And
way,
it's
pecan is, I think pecan
No,
is
no,
a type of
I did
nut.
not ask the question. Ramachandra did.
Yeah, Ramachandra, pecan is a type of nut.
Yeah, it's a type of a nut.
oh.
All right, kids, let's get started. Otherwise, we won't be able to complete it on time. So let's just get started. So let's turn on our oven at 350 degrees. So let it preheat until we are going to make the pie mixture. All right. So 350.
Mataji, what is the oven temperature, Mataji? Again?
350 degrees, Mataji.
350, okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, you have a question? Ask what we need.
What do we need for the
What should we do or not do?
Ask.
what should we do?
What should you do now? Okay, so we are starting our oven and now we're going to start making the pie filling. Okay, so first thing first, because that's going to take a little bit of time. So we're going to get our, so you know the ingredients, you know the quantity you need, right? So I'm straight away going to jump into the recipe. If you have any questions on the quantity and stuff, ask me. But okay, first thing what we're going to do is we're going to mix our golden flex seed in water, and we're going to leave that for 10 minutes. Okay, so you know how much flaxseed and how much water we need. So every tablespoon of flaxseed needs 3 tablespoons of water, and we need 3 tablespoons of flaxseed. So basically 9 tablespoons of water. So let's mix that. And I usually use slightly hot water or warm water.
Look, it broke. Lakshmi Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
What temperature, Mataji? Sorry.
Temperature of what, Mataji?
Of the oven.
350 degrees, Mataji.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, Mataji.
Mataji, what temperature water do you use?
It is 350 degrees. Okay, and I am going to start with this.
Mataji, should the water be cold or hot?
I prefer hot.
No, because Mataji in the chat, in chat ingredients, it says ice water.
No, so ice water not for this. Ice water is only for the pie crust. So your pie crust must be ready, right? Yeah. Now we are going to make the filling for the pie. So for yes, and that recipe says we just need water, but I'm just mentioning let's use hot water because that always helps. So I'm going to start with that. I will take 3 tablespoons of flaxseed.
Wait, teaspoons, right, Mataji?
3 tablespoons, yes.
Tablespoons or teaspoons?
Tablespoons, because this is our main ingredient in the filling. So we need like nice 3 tablespoons.
Okay.
All right. And then I'm going to add hot water. So basically, I just heated up the water and I'm going to take 9 tablespoons and I'm going to add it to this. 9 tablespoons. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so I got my 9 tablespoons of water in this. I'm gonna grab a spoon. Just give it a stir and then let's leave it. I'm just gonna leave it aside because we don't need it right now. Okay, next thing what I'm gonna do is, I don't know if you're using the ready-made pie crust. If you're not, this is the mold I'm gonna use for the pie. So I'm just gonna lay my pie crust in this. So let me get it.
Hare Krishna Mataji, you said golden flaxseed. I have this flaxseed powder, which is not mentioning what kind of flaxseed it is. It says organic cold milled ground flaxseed. Will it do?
Ground flaxseed is good. Any kind of ground flaxseed is good.
Okay.
We need the powder form. Oh, goodness. So I got my pie dough. It was in the refrigerator, in the fridge. And I'm just gonna start putting it here in my mold. That's I'm gonna use. Right.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Can we just use a regular old bowl instead of a mold?
What are you using?
Can we just use a bowl instead of a mold?
Bowl?
Yeah.
What kind of bowl is that? Do you bake in that? Do you bake in that bowl?
I mean, we don't have a mold, so.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So pies are usually round shaped. So this is what I use. Just feel free to use any mold that you have. You know, anything that you use for your baking, basically. So I'm just gonna spread my dough. Right. Is anybody using the ready-made pie crust? If you're doing it, you can skip this step.
Mataji, we didn't get time to make the pie dough, so if we make it now, still we have to keep it minimum 30 minutes for refrigeration.
Yeah, I prefer that, but if you couldn't do that, it's all right. There are times that when I have not put it in the fridge and I just used it straight away. I've done it. So that's fine.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, if you put it in the fridge, you get that kind of that nice texture, the soft, crumbly kind of texture. But that's okay. I still like it. You have all the ingredients, so that's fine.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So, are we using any dough for covering, or everything goes down?
Yeah, we don't need any covering because we're gonna have pecan on the top as garnishing. So that's what we're gonna use for our decoration. So nothing goes on the top. The entire dough will be in the bottom and side.
Okay, so are we putting some oil for greasing the pan before putting the pie crust?
I didn't do it. I never do it. You can do it definitely if you want to, but this one has a lot of butter in it, so it usually doesn't stick. You know, I never use it. But yeah, if you want to take extra precaution. But you know what I did is I had the so you know that butter paper that comes with the butter, and I had that because I used the whole cube. I had this, so I just left it in the bottom.
Oh, okay.
I don't do that. I usually don't do that, but I just had it. I'm like, okay, why not? Let it go in the bottom.
That's nice.
Yeah, feel free to use that, Mataji. Feel free to use anything. We just don't want our pie to stuck in the bottom or anywhere. I do not have any kind of what is it called? The things that can give the shape of the pie, you know, on the top. I don't have it and I don't use it, so I just go with the shape I can make with my hands. So my oven is actually ready, but our filling is not ready yet. So we're gonna make the filling. Filling would be very quick. Let's just make sure that everybody has you have your pecans cut into small pieces, right? 2.5 cups is what we need for this one.
So instead of pecans, can we use walnuts?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can use that. Yeah, they're pretty much same, right? Texture wise. So I think, yeah.
But it's called pecan pie.
We will call it walnut pie in that case. That's what we do, right? One of the times what was it making? I can't remember. Wow. One of the drink, or I think something we were making, and we were making macadamia cookies. And then a lot of kids wanted to use different kind of nuts, almonds and all that kind of stuff. So we just changed the recipe. We said we will call it just nutty or something, nutty cookies or something like that, you know, instead of calling it a name. So yeah, it's up to us. Let's get creative. All right, my dough is almost in shape as I want it. Right, almost done. So I'm almost ready. And I am going to, is everybody ready for the next step?
Mataji, could you show the close-up of the pie crust? Yeah. So the texture you're talking about, like how do we create, you were saying?
Yeah, okay. You can just keep pinching it like that, right? If you do not have anything else, just pinch it like that to get the shape. Yeah, like that. And it's not perfect though, because we're going to do it with hands, but it is basically, it overlaps like gujia, right? If you know.
Okay,
Yep, that kind of shape.
thank you.
Sure, Mataji. All right. All right, so what I'm going to do is, now I'm done with this. If you are also done with this, let's just leave it in the fridge for some time because we don't want butter or anything to melt. So I'm going to leave it in the fridge until we prepare the filling. All right, so this is my flaxseed in water. Okay, so I'm gonna just use this bowl for that. I already have butter in this. So the recipe calls for the butter, right? So I already have butter in this. We need room temperature butter, not cold. I want to make sure that it's soft enough. So yeah, it is soft.
Can you melt the butter and put it in?
Yeah. If your butter is not out, yeah, you can melt it. It's totally okay. I always do that, you know. I never remember to keep the butter out. It's just that because I was making the crust today and somehow I just remembered that I should keep my butter out. All right, so I have my butter here. Let's start adding stuff to it. So we're gonna add flaxseed to this. Okay, so I'm gonna add my flaxseed to this.
Do we add it with the water?
With the water, yes. We need water. Okay. All right, so butter and flaxseed so far. Now we are also adding rest of the ingredients. We want corn syrup, sugar, salt. So let's start one by one. Let's start with corn syrup. And then corn syrup, let me just check how much we want. We want about 3/4 cup of corn syrup.
So if there is no corn syrup, any alternate, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, honey or what's that thing? The one you eat with pancakes.
Maple syrup.
Right, I think the one you eat with pancakes. Yeah, maple syrup.
Oh, okay. The same quantity?
Yes, Mataji. So maple syrup is preferable. If you don't have maple syrup, then honey. 3/4 cup is what we're gonna use. I'm gonna grab my cups. Half cup, so. half cup and 1/4 more. Okay, done. All right, so I have added corn syrup to this. Next thing that goes in is would be your brown sugar or white sugar, whatever sugar you're using, and salt. So we are taking 2/3 cup or 134 grams of sugar. Oh, yeah, give me a moment. Let me grab sugar real quick. 2/3 of a cup of sugar, but it just depends. If you like sweet, add 2/3. I like it a little less sweet, so I always add less sugar to everything. It's totally your preference.
So less sugar means how much to add, Mataji?
So it says the recipe calls for 2/3 cup of sugar. I would add little less.
Okay.
Little less. I mean, the recipe definitely calls for 2/3 cup of sugar. So you can eat that. It's not too sweet still, because you still have a lot of nuts in it, right? But I'm very fond of sweet, but I like slightly less sweet. 2/3 cup. Okay. My sugar goes in. And the next thing we're gonna put salt and cinnamon powder. So we are adding 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so 1/2 teaspoon of salt and where's the cinnamon? 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I like cinnamon flavor, so I go overboard with cinnamon. I don't mind doing that. All right, and we are also adding cornstarch and vanilla essence to it. So cornstarch, or you can use tapioca flour, any of those, and we need 3 tablespoons of that. Tablespoon. Wipe my spoon. Right, so 3 tablespoons. 1. Okay, 3 tablespoons, and the last ingredient that I'm adding is vanilla essence or extract. So it is 2 teaspoons.
Mataji, can you quickly say all the ingredients that you put it in the bowl, Mataji?
Yeah, just one moment, Mataji. Let me just add this real quick, and I'm gonna run through all the ingredients one more time. All right, let's start. All right, so ingredients that we have added to this bowl, which is a mixture, is let's start from here. 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 3 tablespoons tapioca flour or cornstarch, 1/4 cup of butter melted, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla essence or extract, whatever you're using, We have also added 3/4 cup of corn syrup to this, 2/3 cup of sugar to this, and our flaxseed meal. Okay, everybody's good? Okay, I'm gonna just give it a mix now. Just mix all these things together. We just have the last ingredient that needs to go in now, and that is our pecans, nothing else. We just need a nice fluffy consistency. So I'm just gonna stir it really well so that everything is combined very well. I'll show you how it looks. All right. If you use brown sugar or something, it gets a darker color, but right now you do see, like that's how it looks like. I cannot. Okay, I think, all right, like that. Do you see? That's how it looks like. It's got a little bit of bubbles as well because I'm stirring it very hard, and that's what flaxseed do. I'm done with this. Is everybody following so far? Yeah, yes, no?
Mataji, I was making the pie dough and I forgot to follow that steps which you said. Instead, I put everything together and it doesn't make a difference, right?
That is perfect. We need everything together. We just have to mix it. You just have to mix everything together very well.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. All the ingredients that are there for the filling in the recipe, we're going to mix all those together, but we will add nuts in the end, right? Because if the nuts are there, it's difficult to stir anything. So that's what I did so far. Everything is in there. Now I got my nuts. These are 2.5 cups of the nuts. So any nut that you're using, we need good quantity because this pie is all about the nut, right? So pecan or walnut, even if you're trying with almonds or anything else, 2.5 cups. And all this is going in the kind of, I would say, batter or mixture that we prepared. So I'm going to put everything in there and mix it again. Now we just have to kind of mix things together. We don't want a hard stir or anything of that sort. We just have to mix our nuts or fold our nuts in the mixture that we have.
So the walnuts that we are mixing, Mataji, should it be chopped or?
Yeah, chopped to tiny pieces. So you can see in this how that looks like.
Right.
Do you see like they're like tiny nuts?
Right. Yeah.
This is what we want because we don't want the big chunks of nuts coming in our mouth because then it would be like very tasteless, just the nut flavor, and we won't get any pie kind of flavor. So as small as possible.
Is it possible? Can we use almond flakes?
Almond flakes, the slices, the thin slices?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, why not? I think that will taste delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always skeptical about almonds because of their, very crunchy texture, but the slices are best. If you're using slices, yeah, that will taste very good. Very good call out. I'm going to try it sometime.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm actually ready with this. I'm going to get my pie crust from inside and I'm going to just pour this in. So that's my pie crust, as you all know, and I'm just going to pour the entire mixture in this. This is getting interesting now. So entire mixture goes in here. All right. All right, just gonna level up. So I can just quickly show you how that looks. Yeah. All right, the last thing that I'm gonna do is I got my I'll say it and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, so now we have I think I mentioned in the ingredients that we need a lot of pecans, the full ones. So whatever pecans I had, I chopped the ones that were already cracked or chipped and things like that, but I have like full-size pecans here. What I'm going to do now is, because they're just decorated, so any nut that you're using, the top, now we're going to layer the nuts, layer our pie with the nut we are using. So I will show you how I'm doing. I'm just going to start from corners because I want it to look beautiful, right? So I'm going to start with corner and start laying, and I'm going to cover my entire pie with the nuts, entire pie. And that is the reason why Mataji, one of the Mataji was asking, right? If you want the pie crust on the top as well, that's why we don't put it on the top, because we want this decoration on the top. And I'm going to just put few of these and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, I just put few, very few, and then let me show you how that looks. Do you see it? So I've started from the corner. So that's what I'm doing. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'll just start from here. So you can see, start from the corner, and I'm going to just keep laying it like this till I get the entire pie covered. Right, like that. This has a lot of nuts.
Mataji,
Yes,
can
Mataji.
you say the recipe again? I did it not for me to write it down, please.
Mataji, we posted the recipe in the group. Do you not have it? I can share again.
Okay, I appreciate.
Yeah. Vinita, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Help, Mataji. Okay, I don't know how to share it in the chat. Oh, wait. Sorry, I can do it. Sorry, please continue. I can do it. Let me share it here.
Mataji, should we move to the breakout room?
Yes, Mataji, we are moving to the breakout, Mataji, now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will close the old room. Okay, whole room was open. So now I'm going to open another room. Ajay Govind Prabhu joined already. Sorry. I'm not going to put Ajay Govind Prabhu in the breakout.
I'm getting
Mataji, I didn't get that option.
Everybody in the breakout room.
Mataji, I didn't get the option to join. Can you send it to me?
Yeah, it says open all rooms.
1 second,
I
Mataji.
also did not get.
I did not open, Mataji. I did not open. Can you hear me,
Sure.
Mataji? I'm just.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. Now I opened the rooms. Please kindly just go into the rooms. I'm going to stop here live. Stop the recording.